Hello, Stefan.
Hello, Jenny.
Thank you for joining us. So, first question, how do you think hustings went?
I think it went alright. Do you mean personally for me or in general?
Yeah, for you.
The candidates?
Yeah.
I think it was okay. I think I answered the questions that were put to me. I think I answered them as best as I could. And if I don't think it's best as I could, then I can do better. I'm not sure the logic's behind that. But no, I think it was alright for me.
Okay, I think one of the things that may have come last night is why VPA? Why have you not, if you're doing it for a year, why not president?
Well, I had many chats with Oliver, the current president, about the differences between the two roles. And I think that with the abilities and experience I've gathered this year, I would be more suited to help if I went for VPA rather than for president. So that's the main reason.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So I've been looking at your manifesto.
Yeah.
Within the first paragraph, you mention how the changes to the structure of the union have seen in the eyes of students, the student population, tentative and unclear.
Yep.
Is this not partly your fault?
Yeah, perhaps it is.
VP?
Well, perhaps it is, because in the time frame that we had, we didn't really have enough time to write up a proposal and discuss it with students thoroughly beforehand, and therefore we didn't really know we didn't know what questions would be brought on.
There was a proposal and there was a forum which I was at that it was discussed at.
Yeah, but
and we brought up a lot of issues with it that.
Yeah, but we didn't have enough time to really act upon that. So our main general focus of thinking about those ideas was the general meeting, and that's why it might have looked quite unclear, because it was still quite the motion was still quite a work in progress. In other motions, other general meetings, the motion is pretty much in the full format. Whilst in this, it was still kind of a work in progress. But we knew that was going to be the case, and we tried to tell people that that we were using the general meeting as a board for discussion and not as a, this is what we think is absolutely the best, just we'll go with it. We were looking for that kind of criticism and those kind of questions just to keep building on that.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Another bit further down in your manifesto, you say that you've learnt to get things done.
Yeah.
So, firstly, are you saying we've just paid for a year to learn to get things done? Have you got anything done? Can you give us some examples?
Well, I mean, I've learned, of course I would learn throughout the year, but that is a process that happens with anyone. The first day I come in, I'm not completely experienced on what lecture does which lecture, what is the full set of panel of every single board that I'm on. I don't know that in the first day. It's something that I pick up, and that's normal. That's something that will happen, and I think that's a good reason for voting me, is that for next year that I've already kind of skipped that this year, so I can full on from the first day keep doing what I'm doing now. So like it's like saying when you vote for candidates, you work for the potential, and they get training throughout the summer, and that's kind of where most of the learning happens. But if we can skip that process, it's even better. So there was a second part to the question, which was
Give
what
some
have I done?
examples of things, not like I've been to this meeting, things that your actions have made happen.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's quite a difficult question to answer, because like in pretty much none of the things I do, I work individually. So it's often a result is coming from a group discussion. So it's not me deciding this is what we're gonna do. But
What
something
part have you had in a group discussion where
well, for example,
something has specifically?
So, for example, in the union structure, I'm pretty sure I was the first one to suggest the general roles, the generic officers' roles. I was the first one to input the idea, and then we built on that. But it wasn't just me coming up one day and saying, we should do that. We were already in that kind of conversation, saying, okay, if we do this with president, vice president, we need to do something else with the other officers. What should we do? How should we sort them out? And I kind of offered that, but it was kind of a generic discussion.
Okay. Back to what you were just saying a minute ago about your experience helping you if you got elected next year. You said in your manifesto, I feel it would be a waste now that I strongly feel to have a deeper knowledge on how to best represent students to bring someone new who would need time and effort to get up to speed and understand what they must do to be successful. So do you think it was a waste to bring you at the beginning of the year because we had to train you? So do you think it was a waste to train you in Oliver because you could have had someone else that know how to do it anyway? Well, surely the training that you had made you into what I imagine you think is the best VP, and surely someone else should have that potential as well.
Yeah, but when Oliver and I were running, English, there wasn't another candidate that had done that. It was a completely different system anyway, so they couldn't have been. I think generally, obviously, we wouldn't have the case of someone saying, I've got more experience, you should vote for me, I can skip the training process, because that's something new that's come up now. So I don't think you shouldn't have voted for me last year because of this, because that wasn't the case last year.
So do you feel like you're entitled to the VPA role?
No, I'm not entitled. I'm just giving an option to students that if you think I'm the right person for it, this is another thing that will help achieve those goals that we all want. So it's not I feel entitled. I'm just, this is something else that's good about electing me. Up to you whether you want, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Another point which kind of links into that is where you say, although it is annoying and, well, simply predictable to explain how I show these skills in terms of what I've done in the past year, you've only done half the job. Academic affairs is something that isn't really in your job role. So you're saying you've got all this experience, really, you don't.
No, but I do have some experience in the academic world. I do have to go to academic boards, and I do have regular feedback from the current academic affairs, and I need to keep in touch with him in order to know what's academically going on. And I feel that is something that can help me in doing that. And in general, these skills is just the ability to kind of know my way around. Just the college, who to contact in these cases and how it kind of works, which I think is what the major training process involves, learning.
Okay. So can you give us some examples of academic things that you've already been involved in that isn't just a sat on a board?
Well, most of what I do is sitting on a board. So most of the academic stuff that I have done is feeding back in board and being that extra link between Sachi and senior leadership teams or other stuff like that. Academically, that's all I'm required to do in my role. That's all I have time for this year, if that makes sense. But that will still be a very important thing of the VPA next year, a very important aspect of it.
Okay. So, you also say, I have directly seen the positive impact of discussions I've been involved with students, and this has felt amazing for me. It has helped me realise I can help people. A lot of this seems to be, I feel great about this, I've done this, I feel great, not, I am glad I've done something for you. It seems to be, I think this makes me feel good, therefore I kind of want to do it again because I feel good about it. More than I want to help the students, I want to do this for students. And that's a running thing throughout.
Well, I mean, obviously it is something that I gain from in terms of kind of utilitarian principles. It's something that I enjoy doing, therefore I want to do it. But that doesn't mean I do it for myself. What I was pointing out is that I'm passionate about this. I feel strongly about this. I feel strongly about helping the students. And if that means that I enjoy doing that, I think that's only a positive thing. But that is not what I'm doing, and in my speech yesterday I was trying to say that as well. That I'm not doing this just simply for my gain. I'm doing this because I want to help people. I want to improve someone's life, and not for myself, but for the other people's sake. It's part of who I am, and the way I got raised and the stuff I've been through, that I really feel strongly that life is about devoting it to other people.
Okay. Kind of relating to that, so you say you want to you do want to help the students, etc. You do say that all the candidates and ideas for next year need to be taken with a pinch of realism.
Yep.
What do you mean by that? Does that mean that you think none of the things that have been proposed can actually be done, and it's really just everyone's making false promises?
To some extent, perhaps. I think with how things are changing, it is quite difficult to say now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure this happens. Because it's something that we don't know. I don't think people should vote according to what a candidate says they will do, but more to what they feel a candidate can do in terms of character and personality.
But surely part of the role is doing things.
Oh yeah, no,
even
of course.
if that's, I'm going to take this problem to a board and I'm going to get it solved. If you don't think anything can be done, why are you even running?
No, I don't think anything can be done. I just think that it's very difficult to say now, this is what I will definitely do, like sort out.
So it's all just false promises.
Well, to an extent, I realised reading other people's manifestos, and not necessarily the other VPAs in general, that there was this kind of, this is something I will get done. And I know by working on the exec, in the uni, that it's just more complicated than that. And if they were wishing to do those sort of things, it would be pretty much impossible.
Do you not think it shows a bit more determination and passion for it? With the next part of your manifesto is things that you kind of say I might do, but I probably won't be able to, so don't hold me to it, but it's a nice idea. At least the other candidates said, I'm really going to try and do this, I'm going to do it because I believe in it, whereas this is all a bit non-committal. There's no accountability in this because you've not really said that you're going to do anything.
Well, I just find it unrealistic to do this, because I know from what I said last year, it took a great deal of effort to change it into something that's plausible. And I think that what I've read was lacking that realism. And so what I was trying to do is kind of show to the other people, this is who I am, this is what I feel this role is, this is what I'm passionate about.
But if you don't think you can even do anything in the role, why should we vote for you? If you don't think you can actually do anything, what's even the point in the role? What's the point in it?
I know I can represent and I can show determination. These points, I can still do those. But to enter in those kind of more specifics is a bit too unrealistic.
Well, for example, you said you will show determination to provide criticism and constructive support to obtain the best possible scenarios for Heathrop. Why is it not, I will provide criticism and constructive support? Why do you have to just show the determination, but will I actually do it? Well,
because you need to be determined.
You do need to be determined, but you've not said you'll actually do it. You'll show that you want to do it, but you've not actually said that you will do it.
Yeah, but saying I will do this doesn't necessarily translate into that's what they'll do. That's what someone will do. Well, as if I say show determination means that I will go past that and try to do even more.
Okay. That's not how it comes across.
Okay.
But if that's what you mean, then that's...
No, I mean, what I mean is that I will provide criticism and I will do it in a determined way. In a way that will actually be realistic, that will actually matter.
Okay. So do you think that all of the other candidates, pretty much everything that they've said they won't be able to do?
No, that is a generalization. I think there are some points that I'm very doubtful that it's likely that will happen. But I wouldn't say it's complete nonsense what they write. They do have some valid points, and if I do get elected, I will look at those valid points and push for those as well, because it's clearly something that people think it's right. But I just think in general there was that sense of kind of overcommitment to something that they're not sure, that they don't realise it's actually unlikely to happen.
Whereas you've committed to do nothing.
No, I've committed to
For
things.
example, you've said you'll try and give more opportunities to postgrad students, great. You'll perhaps organise cheese and wine events. Why would you not say, I'm going to do that? It's not, a wild idea, why can't you say, I'm going to do it? It might fail the first time, in which case, alright, you might not do it again. I'm going to do that for postgraduates. Why is it at Pat's? Maybe, we'll see.
No, because I might have a better idea until then.
Is that really what you meant?
I'm not sure. No, I was saying like one of these examples would be organising student going to get together. So that perhaps is like, for example.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. Don't apologise. Easy question.
Yeah.
So you deepen the bonds with neighbouring universities.
Mm-hmm.
How have you already been involved in that this year in the union?
Partly, as in I have with Fordham. However, most of the negotiations with Richmond and Imperial, it has been mostly Oliver and Matt.
Mm-hmm.
But I have emailed Richmond, the equivalent to Vice President, and I think Oliver and Matt have, I'm pretty sure actually they've said my name, so they would kind of recognize me, and I can ask Matt and Oliver for the same contacts and then kind of just push that forward.
Okay.
But in general, no, apart from Fordham,
Okay.
if that helps.
Yeah.
Jones.
You've also said that you and Oliver had started fortnightly video updates.
Yeah.
There's actually been 5, one of which was 49 seconds long, so really there's been 4. Do you really think it's viable to even carry that on fortnightly video updates? You've not been able to do it this year. Why do you think you'll be able to do it next year?
Well, we started with the idea of doing it fortnightly, and then we kind of changed it into whenever there's something important coming up, because we realized people don't want that kind of frequency. They just want something that's on topic or when something's actually important, and they'll figure out when events are or stuff like that. So it was kind of like a growing process. It hasn't been the same throughout. And one of the times was also, the first video I think was like 10 minutes, and loads of students told me, oh, it looks good, I only watched the first 30 seconds. And then, so we tried different things, and I tried doing initially it was like me and Oliver, and then we tried doing it separately, and then we tried shortening it. So it was just like a work in progress. And
yeah, okay.
I will try and find the perfect format that people will appreciate.
Another thing that you've mentioned is posting, this is an idea that you said for next year, posting the President and Vice President's working hours weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that something that you've not already done? That's a very simple thing that surely is something that you've clearly thought of. Why have you not already done it?
I just thought of it last week. Simple as that. Also, another thing what you were saying about me not really committing to stuff. Most of the good ideas that I've had are already kind of in process of doing it. So it's a bit pointless of me being redundant and saying this.
So you don't think you're going to bring anything extra to the role?
No, I will do those things. But that kind of lack of precise things is because I'm already in the process of doing it.
Okay.
Of course I will think of something new, but as of today, if I think of something new, I just do it, like what you just said about the Vice President and stuff, why I'm used to doing it. I might as well have done it yesterday before hostings or something.
Okay. So we've got some questions from other students that have come in.
Yep.
Firstly, campaigns role has been vacant for 3 years. What would you do for campaigns?
Well, if campaigns is
next year, what would you do? Yeah.
Oh, what kind of campaigns would I run?
Or how would you fulfil the role?
Well, that's a difficult question because it depends widely on the manpower that we have in the generic roles, because we might have someone that says, oh, I'm really passionate about campaigning, these are the ideas I'm looking for, and that would be amazing. I think it would be nice to outsource Hebrew students and kind of make possible that they go to some conferences, not necessarily in US conferences, but stuff like I Heart Consent and some conference that people will feel strongly informative and valuable. I think it would be nice to allocate some money for that, for students to do that. but it hasn't necessarily been my role this year. And I don't think it will necessarily be the role of the VPA next year. But obviously it's something that we have to be wary of and mindful of. But hopefully with the manpower that we'll have and with the fact that it's generic roles and therefore we can kind of push people into doing that, although they might not have technically thought of signing up for that, we'll have a bit more leeway.
Okay, next question. Have you ever been in a committee or meeting in which you've disagreed with the decision that was made? And if so, what did you do to voice your disagreement?
Yeah, I have. Of course, it's going to happen at some point, and I really pushed for what I thought was right, and I gave them.
Can you give an example though?
I'm not sure I can.
So, you're saying that you've agreed with college on everything?
No, it wasn't college. It was with exact decisions. I pushed what I thought was right, but in the end, the majority of the student representatives of the exec voted against it. I think actually it was the only one that was against what we were saying. And I didn't think it was unreasonable. I just thought the different option was more better. But in that case, because it was student representation majority disagreeing with you, I couldn't really argue with that. It's different if it was a college board, if that makes sense.
How would it different?
Well, because in that I can make more of a statement because in the exact kind of role, in the exact kind of meeting situation, if you can disagree and you can bring rational arguments, but if they kind of then respond to those arguments and say no, we still believe that's our way is better. It's constitutionally there's still that majority. Okay. In a board meeting or something, a non-exec, I can say no. This is my role. I'm representing students. But when there's other people representing students, it's.
Last question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you identify as a feminist? And what will you do to promote gender equality if you're elected?
There's many descriptions of feminism. There's a spectrum of feminism. No, I believe in equal rights, obviously, and gender equality. What will I do to promote it? Well, I think it will be worth, as I said, allocate money to go to conferences, which touch upon those subjects. Obviously, it would be lovely that the exec next year would be more gender equal. But that's not my decision. I think working alongside the exec next year, we can organize events that focus on that. Some kind of welfare events and LGBTQ plus events, and we can do a topic on gender equality. I think that would be a good idea for. Events next year.
Yeah. I think that's.
But I mean, that wouldn't necessarily be my role. I would still be a helping hand, but yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, thank you for having me.